Hello everyone, I'm Captain Logan,
I'm Eric.
and today we're going to tell you how we felt about the new Halloween film, Halloween. It's the
Halloween.
Same, yeah, Halloween : Halloween, Halloween H40.
I've seen a lot of people calling it
whatever you want to call it. Yeah, sure.
That will be a shorthand, like, forevermore, I assume.
I bet so. Yeah, I still really wish they had put some kind of a another title on it. I kind of like there had been talk about calling it The Shape. I kind of like that.
I think that's
I don't know
harder to
if
sell
people
to
would know what it
audience.
is. Yeah, if people know what it is, I think that's kind of tough.
But I wouldn't mind Halloween The Shape.
You know, that's not bad.
Halloween Golden The Shape.
And having seen it, I think it fits.
Or just Halloween Returns. Is that too cheesy?
I think so.
Okay.
Because I mean, so people are going to give me flack about this because every time, and particularly with Batman Returns, I talk about specifically that title. People like to complain that I read too much into titles.
It does return every year.
Yeah, it comes back every time. Yeah, so that's and it's the franchise. But anyway, so Eric and I are doing this outside of the omnibus because and by the time this goes up, the omnibus won't even quite fully be out yet, so I'm going to post this as soon as we get done making it. But I kind of wanted to get this out relatively on time because I'm sure people are going to be kind of curious about this movie, and it was a big anticipated film for me. I know it probably was for you as well. And we're getting our Halloween-themed omnibus out this week, so I didn't want to wait on it. And I certainly didn't want to wait until after October.
Yeah, you didn't want to wait 3 weeks out.
Yeah, and it not being October anymore. Yeah. So here's a bonus how we felt about outside of the omnibus for you. So we're going to go ahead and just get right into it. Eric, I guess, we always do real brief synopsis. Michael Myers escapes 40 years after...
spent that 40 years doing nothing but preparing for Michael Myers to escape.
Or, yeah, certainly, kind of hoping that he would, right? And...
Or at least being ready for it. She says that she was hoping for it, but, like...
Yeah, it's
it starts in that place.
But it's pretty clear that at this point she wants that to happen. And I'm sure most people know this by now, but we've wiped every other movie out. So it's one, and then it's this. So this is the new Halloween 2. So there now effectively are 3 Halloween 2s.
Yep.
And it's like the first film in that he's just been biding his time, and for kind of no reason we understand he's chosen now.
Well, they're moving him. He has the opportunity. Although I have questions about the bus.
Sure, yeah.
I don't know what happens.
But, I mean, you always got the idea with the original film that he could have escaped anytime he wanted to. And, like, I don't know if that's necessarily true with this, but yeah...
Wait till someone taught him how to drive. Right. He's biding his time for someone to teach him to drive.
That's hilarious. But no, I guess you're right. He does just kind of take that opportunity when he's being moved because he's in a bus. And
he kind of reminds me of the Dark Knight Returns Joker, who just kind of sits dormant for the 20 years whenever Batman's been retired until he has a moment to move. Yeah. Well, in that case, it's until Batman comes back, but that's kind of what I view him as. Where they're like, yeah, he just stands around, like doesn't do anything, and model prisoner. So
this movie is, of course, trying to finally make the case that you can make a good sequel to this movie, and that the second one was the original second one was a misstep, and everything thereafter was a misstep, and at the same time as you're trying to be the singular only direct sequel, it's also doing plenty of callback.
Yeah, no, there's a real reference for the one of my favorites was the what are we gonna do, cancel Halloween?
Yeah, no, that was great. No, you're right. There's a lot of callbacks to things in the franchise.
Yeah.
But I also mean it's also doing that sequel tribute anniversary thing for the original film. Yeah. And that might turn some people off a little bit. It doesn't go crazy overboard with it, but there are several things
one of them is my favorite moment in the film.
Yeah, I mean, particularly at the end. Yeah. If you're thinking about what I'm thinking, it's pretty great. Yeah.
The one that's a literal inversion from the first film.
That's right. Yeah. Hopefully we didn't say too much already. But anyway, so Eric, why don't you tell us how you felt about Halloween?
I liked it.
Yeah? Didn't love it?
No, and what I'm going to say is both fair and not fair.
Okay.
If this was A, the first Halloween sequel ever made, and B, there were no plans to make any sequels to this film, I'm good with it.
I feel exactly the same way, yeah.
We ask a lot of questions in this movie, And I'm fine.
And give no answers at all.
I'm kind of okay with that if this is a sequel to a movie from 40 years ago and this is just a sequel. I know you're going to make more movies. Give me some answers. Don't just ask all these questions with fake Loomis, or like, not Loomis.
If that's what it's about.
Yeah, and it's not. But I'm not thinking about it until they start asking these questions. Where I'm like, what is going on here? And I know they're going to make sequels.
And we talked about this ahead of time. Like, you didn't need answers before you saw the movie.
No, and I don't really need them. It's just that they raised them, and I'm like, well, if you're going to make sequels, give me some answers for the questions you're raising right now.
Yeah. Well, my thing is, it kind of felt like that was the movie it was making. They were making it for a while. Mm. Like, I was expecting those things to happen. It does feel like a lot of setup without a lot of payoff.
And we know they reshot the ending.
Oh, interesting.
The ending did not scream well with test audiences.
Well, I would love to know what that is, because the ending they made felt kind of safe to me.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
And I don't know about you, and I don't mean to immediately lead with a lot of negative, but I kind of, like, I was really into it until the last 10 or 15 minutes. I kind of checked out a little bit toward the end.
I did too.
Did you?
Yeah. Like, there's some fun stuff. It's far and away the best Halloween sequel.
Yeah, sure.
Outside of 3. Well, it's probably better 3.
Yeah, but 3 doesn't count as a sequel. It's another movie. Yeah.
It's far and away the best Halloween sequel. It's okay.
If all it was trying to achieve was being a better sequel than the first sequel, it does that.
It's better than all the other sequels. It's okay.
It's certainly the most artistically shot.
It is.
Right?
It is. It is absolutely the best made film since the original.
I mean, I would go as far as to say it's as well made as the original. Like, I would go that far.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's going to be a classic like that movie was.
No, yeah.
But that's the main thing it takes from it is the artistry.
Mm-hmm. I was impressed. Well, I'm mostly impressed by how the comedy plays.
Yeah.
Because every time somebody starts talking, it's a joke. It sounds like Danny McBride, who co-wrote this film. Like, I know what that guy sounds like.
Oh, okay.
The peanut butter sandwich conversation, I can picture Danny McBride saying. That's the one scene that I thought went a little too far, where I'm like, I don't need this scene. I don't know why it's here. Well...
It was funny, though.
The scene
I did like it.
And the scene with the kid went a little long. But the first scene with the kid went a little long, I thought.
Yeah, but I loved him, so I don't know if I care.
He was
great. But I don't know, the sandwich conversation you're talking about, like, it was really funny in the scene. Later on, I kept wondering why it was there, and also, I felt like it could easily have been dropped into any kind of movie.
Yeah,
that could have been a superhero film. That could have been in an action movie. That could have been in anything.
Yeah. So I like it. I think it's just okay. I don't think it's great. I will give it a feeling it, but it's a light feeling it. I think it's I think it's its own fault. I think it sets up way better than it can ever deliver.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about marketing or hype. I'm talking about the film itself.
You're talking about the first scene of the second act, yeah.
Yeah. I'm expecting something much more than what I actually get out of this film, based on the film itself.
That's my main criticism. That's the big thing I wanted to bring up, Eric, is that and tell me if you had the same kind of experience, because I agree with you on that. I was so intrigued and drawn into mystery at the beginning.
And there's no answers.
It just felt like such a super mysterious, and like there's a lot of talk about sort of kind of what it might be like metaphysically and stuff, you know, or existentially, I guess. Mm-hmm. But we've had that in the other Halloween movies too. Mm-hmm. You know, like, is he pure evil? Is he not? Like, and I hope we're not giving away too much even by saying that it doesn't tell us a lot. But that's our main takeaway.
Yeah, the movie starts like, okay, we're gonna give answers, and they're gonna be better answers than you've gotten before. That's how this movie opens and feels to me.
I think maybe what they think they're doing is they're making a case that there can't be answers for this, and so that's why nobody gets them. But I didn't find that to be super satisfying.
Then you need to make that more clear in the film, because that's the side of the argument I'm on. I don't need answers. But when you open your movie and you say, okay, we've got a bunch of questions, I'm like, okay, well then you're gonna give me answers.
Yeah. And they were winning me over on that.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it opens with a couple of journalists slash podcasters, which is really funny, trying to find out everything they can about that original night and Michael Myers himself and everything. And there's kind of a turn, like you think it's going to be more about that than it ends up being, certainly, but at the same time, it really, like they start talking about things that make me really curious to know how they're going to handle it.
And this movie all but like kind of yells at you why Laurie Strode.
Yes,
and then has no answers for why Laurie Strode, or also
why he's still at it.
Or also if Laurie Strode, why anyone else? What is it that makes... We ask all these questions and we don't have anything.
Yeah, like the best I can come up with by the end of that movie is, well, she was the one that got away. Like that's the best I can come up with.
Yeah, and I feel like that was the I guess he was his sister. She was his sister before, so that's, I don't know.
Like I don't know. I kind of like. And again, I don't know that it ultimately pays off super well, but like, I really like the idea of what a killer does to the victims. That's kind of like the big thematic through of this. Is like, is like what happens when somebody is turned maybe almost as crazy as the person or could they go that way? And we have a couple examples of that where we're kind of exploring that psychology a little bit.
And I like this generational.
I enjoyed that. Yeah,
you're seeing the effects of this generationally.
Well, and when I say that's not paid off super well, only in the mythology stuff. Only in that the way that Michael and Laurie affect each other, I don't fully understand.
And we keep throwing these lines.
There are character arcs, and they're decent. So I mean, like the
Laurie stuff is good.
It does. She's wonderful, and the performance is great.
Yeah.
But like
and Judy Greer was great as her daughter.
I think so too, and I like the granddaughter. I think they're all really good. Yeah.
No,
is that Ant-Man's wife? Am I right about that?
Yeah. Yeah. That's Judy Greer.
I was like, well, that's perfect casting choice, and she's absolutely hilarious.
Yeah. No, she has a moment near the end that I actually felt was like a genuine like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and the argument she has, because her character arc's really interesting. Like one of my big positive takeaways with this movie is that it is more or less a pretty character-driven movie. Like, it's about stuff. And I like that it's kind of the inversion of the typical, like, you become your parent story, where she's trying so hard not to be her mom, she's learning the ways in which she should have paid attention. And I like that a lot. And both of them, I think, as the movie goes along, like, have things to teach each other, and they come to maybe some kind of a midpoint on that. Like, there's stuff to sink your teeth into narratively.
Yeah. It's not bad.
Yeah.
No. The three of them are great. This is a much better version of what Laurie Strode grows up to be than H2O.
Oh, yes,
I much prefer this as the...
Because she's just obnoxious. Like,
she's just a normal person that had this thing in her past.
Well, no, that's not true. They try to play it this way in a way where she's paranoid, but this takes it to 11, and I really, really buy it. And I also like that some of the things that the audience might be thinking about, like how long it's been and what that night was like 40 years ago, is in the movie, where you have arguments like, I mean, he only killed 5 people. It's that big of a deal. You know, I like that kind of thing is brought up. Like, how scary is he really? And then they make a good case for, no, this is different. Like, it's not just your average serial killer. There is something here.
And they do the, more so than I think any of the sequels or remakes or anything, he feels like a force of nature.
Yeah,
he feels like someone that cannot be stopped. And that's good.
Yeah. And he's clever with his kills again.
He's cranky with his kills.
He's creative again.
Yeah.
It seems like the kind of goal here is to recreate the first movie without just completely retelling that story.
It felt to me like because we joked about doing boards, and I think if I was going to write a board, this movie feels like it was made by people that like the things that I like about Halloween, but also have no idea what you do moving forward.
And that's the sad thing. First of all, I'm leery about sequels. I kind of don't want more.
No, and I actually think The Final Shot is a great way to end this franchise.
Yeah, even if I don't find the movie as it's set up completely satisfying.
Yeah.
But it should be the end of it. I mean, like, if you're making a movie about how it's hard to make sequels to these movies, maybe you should only make one. You know, I don't know that this should be franchised out again, but I don't know. I'm a little bit disappointed that it didn't finally answer the question, can you make a great Halloween sequel? Mm. Because it's very entertaining. I really enjoyed it while I was watching it. I will watch this again.
Exactly.
But I don't feel like I needed it. You know what I mean? Like, that first movie still stands, like, perfectly well along.
I feel like I can still safely tell people you only need to see the first one.
Yeah. And that this was maybe...
If you want to watch a sequel, this is the one to watch.
Sure. And that, like... This is, you know, this has got some good comedy, it's got some good scares, that stuff is really well intermingled. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but when it's supposed to be heavy, it's heavy. Mm-hmm. And there are some things that are, you know, legitimately creepy. Mm-hmm. And that's
the teeth thing worked just as well in the movie as it did in the trailer. I was worried that scene wouldn't be effective in the movie, and still...
It almost felt like there was a thesis statement for that, where it was like, we have to outdo the bathroom scene in H2O. Mm-hmm. Like, it really felt like it really, really wanted to do that. It's like, everybody remembers that, and it's just not that great, and let's do it better. And, I mean, that was great.
There's a point in the third act, I'm not spoiling anything, but there's a point in the third act. This is part of the problem for me in the relationship I had with this movie when we get to the third act is, there's a point in this movie where something minor happens, and I lost myself out of the movie for not like a couple minutes, but like, there's a point where someone kind of gets pulled downstairs, and I stop thinking about the movie. I start thinking about, like, God, that would hurt if you fell downstairs, and, like, your chin was there, and, like, oh man, that would be and like, I was kind of distracted by the time we got to the end of it. Like, I was
that's really funny.
Just kind of, yeah, let's get on with it.
But it felt like a movie that the people involved had a good time making.
Yeah, and I
has been lost in that franchise.
And I really want to know what that original ending was, because this ending really felt like, and then we had an ending.
Yeah.
It felt so unsatisfying. I mean, I didn't love the stuff leading up to it, but then, like, the actual, like what happened, what we do with Michael, I was like, really? That's it?
Yeah.
This whole movie was building to that? Okay.
But at least the character stuff all works by the end.
No, it does. It does. Which then, I guess, makes it a weird thing.
Yeah, right?
As far as... I don't know, it's missing something.
Yeah.
No, you're right. The character stuff is good. I like all the performances and the writing.
And like just experiment than it is anything.
You know what I think I might have a problem with the character stuff, or why the character stuff doesn't resonate with me as much as I want it to?
Yeah.
I don't think it knows which of the three women is its protagonist, and I think it switches multiple times throughout the film.
I mean, you could make the case that it is a triple protagonist film.
But I'm pretty sure that the granddaughter is the main character, and then she just disappears for large sections of the third act. She's my into this.
Well, that's true.
And I lose her.
Yeah.
And I spend a lot of time with the mom, and I like her.
That's fair.
Of the three, she's the one that I would think is the least of the three protagonists. So you've got the grandmother, and you've got the granddaughter, and then the mom is kind of there, but more in the background. And so, like, I don't know. I think I'm having trouble juggling all three of them.
Yeah, that might be fair. Do you think this is the last thing I want to ask you about?
Yeah.
Do you think that it's kind of a cheat, given how little we know about Michael Myers by the end of the film, how easy it is for him to find our characters, where he just kind of lands on them constantly?
No, because I don't know what the mythology is.
Well, same here, yeah, but that makes me feel like it's a little bit of a cheat, where it's like, we're not going to tell you anything about it, and so we'll just easily plan it. Like, I guess my point is, because it might be okay if you didn't call so much attention to the mythology stuff, like we were talking about earlier. So when he goes after the granddaughter, I don't know if he went there on purpose or if that's just who was there while he was walking across.
Yeah. I assumed it was on purpose. There's something in the movie that makes me think that.
It's hard to say, though, because it feels like she just happened to be where he... Like, it doesn't feel like he's drawn to her. It feels like he went to a house that was close to where she was.
Yeah.
And things like that bothered me a little bit.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Score is brilliant. This has a really, really cool soundtrack. Really minimalistic soundtrack, but there's some neat, understated stuff done with electric guitar that got me. And the Halloween theme is not overused.
No.
It does a really good job with that.
It's a cool redux of it.
It is, and also, yeah, and I feel bad for John Ottman, because Ottman and H2O did a similar thing with it. They didn't use it.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet he watches this movie and just wants to punch things. But anyway.
Yeah, that's 20 years ago.
I also really, and the original movie does this some too. I appreciate where it will take different sections out of that score and not put everything together.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll have, like, the ticking percussion but nothing else,
mm-hmm.
Like the original does. But it also takes other bits of it, and it will just play that bit.
The soundtrack is out. I think it's all up on YouTube.
Oh, cool.
I will listen to it. I like listening to John Carpenter's music. He's got 3 albums. It's very often writing music.
I didn't know that, yeah.
It's all synth. You know,
yeah.
It's his thing. But no, I listen to those pretty regularly. So I will listen to the soundtrack and see what it sounds like on its own.
Yeah,
I'm very interested in that, because there are large parts of this movie where there's no sound, or there's no sound, but then I'm not sure. I'm like,
or like I said, it's real minimalistic.
I think there is a sting going.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I think there's more music in it than you're realizing.
There probably is. Which is part of the reason I want to listen to the score. I actually almost listened to the score before we saw the movie.
I never do that.
I don't either.
Oh, I hate that.
Well, I'm not a music guy, so like I never do that.
Yeah.
But I like John Carpenter's music, so like I consider that, but I didn't.
Anytime if I do that, I will like pick up on too much of it, and it will distract me, where I'm like, oh, I listened to this already.
Well, and there's the famous Star Wars thing where, like, multiple times Star Wars has spoiled things by track names, because I think Han Solo's death was spoiled by the soundtrack. Spoilers. One quick thing I want to mention before we go is this movie did fix something that's wrong with a lot of Halloween sequels and a lot of slash movies in general. I liked some of the people that died.
Yeah,
they weren't all like terrible people.
I'm glad you mentioned it. And when they were supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like, characters more or
less... It's a nice mix. It's not all...
Characters more or less felt like real people to me. And there were characters that had both flaws and endearing traits.
Mm-hmm. But there's a couple that dies that I was like, oh, I kind of wish they were the protagonists of this movie. They were fun.
Yeah.
And then they were dead.
I liked Teenage Foggy Nelson a lot.
That's a good way to describe him.
I was thinking that the whole movie.
Yep. That's a good way to describe him. He's fun.
He was fun.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going with I'm feeling it. Maybe even a slightly stronger one than Eric, because I really liked it while I was watching it.
Mm-hmm. I also liked it while I was watching it.
Minus where I was tuned out a little bit toward the end, but like I was surprised by how much I laughed and certainly not at it. Like it does things that are funny that it wants to be funny, but again does not undercut the horror of it.
There are a couple of places where Michael Myers is like sneaking around that I don't think is supposed to be funny, but I think is very
I don't
funny.
agree. I think some of that is yeah, because it's supposed to be funny kind of from his perspective, right? Where like you're looking at a character that doesn't know he's coming, and you're almost that from Michael Myers. You're like, yeah, it's great. Where you're just like, you're gonna die.
Yep.
Oh, I wanted to. Sorry, I just thought of this too. Is it too gory or just gory enough? Because the first movie doesn't go as far as this does, and one of the things I don't like about the sequels is that a lot of them try to ramp that up as much as humanly possible, and it wasn't really about like how gross can we get on screen. I was just wondering if you thought compared to the original it goes too far.
No, I don't have a problem with any of the gore. None of it's like absurd. And there's some moments I think are genuinely, like, visceral.
Yes, yeah.
There's a moment early on where someone's head is getting bashed against a wall that I think is really, really strong.
Because I was going to say, I could see the argument against how far the gore goes, but I was cool with it.
I mean, the question at this point is, like, this is really tame compared to most horror movies
that are made now.
Yeah, most R-rated horror movies.
Yeah.
So
are we comparing it to 1978 standards?
Yeah, I mean, or we're comparing it to the like it's pretty reined in.
It's a modern film. Yeah,
like a post-Saw world.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
But
But anyway, so that's how we felt about Halloween. If you've seen the film, leave your comments and let us know how you felt about it as well. And like I said, the omnibus is on its way. It should be out later today from when this comes up. So anyway, look forward to that. And all Halloween themed in the meantime. Not movies themed. It's hilarious. We did a whole Halloween omnibus, themed omnibus, and nothing Halloween is actually on that omnibus.
No, because you did the Halloween movies last time.
Yeah. Yes, I did. Well, that's what I happen to be.
Are you thinking?
I don't know. It was like 3 months ago.
You should have started with the Nightmare movies. Well, that would have made the Halloween movies worse.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it would have been because the Halloween movies made it kind of difficult for me to go through the Nightmare movies. And yeah, I'm sure it would have been way worse.
But imagine going through Halloween 4, 5, and 6 after the Nightmare movies.
Yeah. Well, I know you were bored to tears, so...
They're boring.
They are!
This is 1, 3, and maybe this. Like, that's all you need to watch.
Yeah. Well, and I don't even know about 3. 3's weird. Anyway.
No, you don't like 3. I'm just saying for my personally, but...
Yeah, well, anyway, thanks again for watching, folks. We sure appreciate it. I'm Captain Logan.
Watch 3 on, like, 1.5 speed. It makes it a lot better.
Really? Have you done this?
No, I've never done it, but I assume.
I don't want that song playing that fast. Just my thing. It's like, 3 more days of Halloween. No, I'm not going through that. It's already freaking me out just thinking about it.
I'm out.
See you later, folks.
do 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 do